don't get them the flu shots when they're going back to school. They don't need it. They need a natural acquisition to the flu. They found out in the research that each consecutive flu shot that you get makes you more susceptible to get to the flu and actually have a weaker immune system. The whole system is corrupt. So I want to empower you to take control of your health as well as your child's health yet again. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Doc Jacque Show. Today, I'm going to be talking about a topic that is every parent's worst nightmare. Flu season, cold season, mythical virus season. Of things that may or may not be man-made. What can we do from a natural standpoint to support our immune system as well as our kids' immune system? And so we're going to go through it. I mean, at the end of the day, when kids are going back to school, there's a lot of factors that are going to and can cause different types of disease, sicknesses, colds, etc. within the body. And some people might hate me for this broad swooping generalization, but whenever it comes to kids entering back into school, it is commonplace that you'll see a plethora of kids with Band-Aids on their shoulders. What does that mean? That means those kids have been vaccinated, right? For me, when I see kids like that, I actually go the other way, right? My kids aren't going to play with those kids who just have the fresh jab. And the reason is because if it was a live attenuated virus, there's about a 2-week shed time where there's going to be 2 weeks where that kid's going to be shedding that virus, whether they have symptoms or not. Okay, now my kids' immune system, my wife and I's kids' immune system is insanely strong. It's pretty impressive how fast they go through, they kick out, and they move on from whatever illness it is. Okay, so for me, when kids are going back to school, right, typically what's happening is they have had a whole summer worth of staying up late, their immune systems are shot, they're underslept, undernourished, and then you're putting them into a stressful environment, especially if you're putting your kids into a public school or just like a standard school. So you combine lack of sleep with an increase in stress. What does that do to an adult body? That weakens our immune system, right? But then what does it do to a kid? Kids are smaller than us, so it's going to crush, it's going to decimate their immune system. Okay, so we want to think about the underlying causes, right? People getting vaccinated, bringing in a live attenuated virus, or shedding it for 2 weeks or so. Lack of sleep, poor food, or undernourished. And that creates this environment where if you haven't been proactive on your health, you're going to have to be reactive on your health. So from the very simplistic standpoint, if I'm a parent, which I am, and say our kid gets sick, what do we focus on? What do we emphasize? Clean, healthy foods, which they're already eating, and great quality of sleep. Depending on your child's age, if you need to give a little bit of melatonin support or sleep aid support to help them get a better night's sleep, that's totally fine as well, right? Kids need to sleep, they need to grow, they need to develop. Okay, now if we're sending our kids off to school, right, with a poor quality lunch packed with Lunchables or bunch of dairy like cheese sticks, cheese puffs, Hostess cakes, just like a bunch of sugary processed garbage, then our kids are going to be the first ones that are going to get sick. Sugar is going to lead to a weakening of the immune system. There's plenty of research to state that. Okay, just Google it. Sugar and immune system, NCBI, and you'll get a ton of literature that pops up that says sugar causes a weakened immune system. And so we get hit multiple times throughout the school season. The first one is when we're mixing up all the germs that the kids have right out of the gates. Okay, and if we have compromised immune systems or we come across a virus, bacteria, parasite, or anything that we haven't come across, we don't have antibodies to, then our kids are going to express more symptoms with it. Okay, we overhaul the diet, we fix their nutrition, and then just in time, like, yes, we finally got our kid healthy again. Guess what holiday comes? Halloween. What do most kids eat on Halloween? Processed junk and sugar. So what happens after Halloween? We see another trend. Right? It's not flu season, it's sugar season. We see another trend because vitamin D levels are also starting to drop because it's starting to get colder, especially in the northeast too. It's getting colder. Less time outside, less vitamin D, weakened immune system. What happens? Our kids get sick for the second time throughout the year. Then we have Thanksgiving. They get hit again with crappy food, pies, cakes, etc. Maybe some birthdays thrown in there. And then there's Jesus's birthday coming up. We got Christmas. We've got New Year's. Right? The school season, beginning school season is all holidays. Okay? It's all of these things that are going to be increasing our sugar concentration, so increasing our sugar content within our bodies, causing us to have a weakened immune system, exposing us to more viruses, more pathogens, more everything, right? While lowering our vitamin D. So it's no wonder our kids get sick, right? But what I'm trying to do here is not have you worry as a parent. It's trying to explain things as a parent to parent. If you don't have kids, then, you can still use this for yourself, right? Because, you go to the gym, right? And Susie on the elliptical is always on the elliptical every day at 10 o'clock, but Susie has kids. Susie has kids that come back to give her germs. She still goes to the gym. She spreads the germs to you. What do? Do the same intake. How's your sleep, right? How's your movement? How's your exercise? How's your stress? How's your food? Okay, if you're like, I've got all those in alignment, and you're like, great. I'm already way ahead of the game. I just potentially need to add some supplemental support to get through these holidays. Okay, so it's really important when we're thinking about this. My goal as your doctor, even if you're just listening to me on this podcast, is to give you free usable information to protect yourself. Because I want more and more healthy people. I want health to be kind of like a national right. Like everyone should have their health. But as debunking these myths and just teaching you how to eat properly, how to take care of yourself, how to not stress, how to sleep properly, that's really going to help you to be successful with your health, not just now, but in the future. Okay? So going past that, going on to the next one here. So if we're talking about what can we do to help with just boosting your immune system through the beginning of the school year, whether you are a parent or you have children, or if you're a teenager or something listening to this podcast, that'd be cool if teenagers are listening, because I want younger kids to start getting this message too of true health and well-being. But what can you do? What can you take? So you have the normal ones that everyone is talking about and boasting about, and that's going to be like zinc supplementation. If you have a good multivitamin, you could typically get your zinc max through a multivitamin. Magnesium is going to be another thing too. It's going to help with stress. It's going to help with immune system. It's going to help with sleep. So that's something that's important to make sure you have. Again, a lot of this is going to be in multivitamins. Vitamin D should be in your multivitamin as well, vitamin D3. If you're worried during the beginning, you can do about 10,000 IUs as an adult. For a kid, you can do 1,000 to 5,000 IUs, but I just typically for our kids, we just stick about 1,000 IUs, which is with our vitamin D, it's about a half a dropper. Pretty simple. Okay. Other things you could do too is your vitamin C. Okay. And I'm not talking about the emergency crap that you can get on the shelf. It's garbage, right? And I hate to say this, but pretty much anything you're going to be able to find in like a Walmart or Walgreens is not going to be the highest quality product that's out there because they don't really care about your health. What do I give our kids and my patients? So I give them C+ BioFizz. Okay, this stuff is really good. It has vitamin C in it. It's got some other immune supporters in there as well, some quercetin in there, which is going to help with the inflammatory response. And so with the vitamin C, with it being the BioFizz, it's kind of like the emergency stuff. It's fizzy, right? It has some effervescence to it. It tastes delicious, and the kids call it their Power C, right? They just gave it to them this morning. Before they got out the door, put it in their water bottle, send them out the door. They're going to drink that, refill it as they go, but they're going to have some solid vitamin C all day long. Okay, works really well. What else can we do? Now, these other ones are more therapeutic agents. Okay, so I personally love silver, colloidal silver. I think it kills pretty much everything. It helps your body to ultimately kill anything that you can stumble across. I have patients that swear by it, and once they started taking it, they didn't get sick, and they're like, I'm never going to stop taking this product ever. I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do, but make sure it's not affecting gut health and anything else, because it is, a natural antimicrobial, right? So with the colloidal silver that I recommend, we have stuff with Designs for Health. It's called silvercillin. It's a nice liquid you can use, especially if you find like some white on your tongue, you have candida overgrowth. Swishing it around the mouth, about 2 tablespoons of that 2 to 3 times a day. Swish it around your mouth, 30 seconds, swallow it. It can help to kill any infections, any bacteria, but also any yeast that you may have that's present in the mouth. It can help with halitosis or kind of stinky breath. It's a great solid solution. For kids, you can give them the liquid too. For me, I use, there's ACS silver spray. Okay, so it's just a spray. You do 6 sprays a couple times a day, 2 times a day. It's good. Like an example was Hoyt told me that the teacher left early with a fever yesterday. I'm like, okay, so what do we need to do? He's been exposed. My daughter's in his class as well, so they've been exposed. So what do we do? Give him the vitamin C, give him some of the silver spray, gave him vitamin D this morning as well, and I gave him biocidin, which is another like antimicrobial thing that works really well, which you can get. I don't know if you can get it by yourself, but you can get it through us if you need it, as 1 drop per 10 pounds body weight for kids. So really easy, just gave them a couple drops, sent them out the door. So this is something that they got exposed, their immune systems are wicked strong, but I'm going to give them some things to help to conquer it a little bit quicker so they don't get run down, especially because we're going to be traveling to Pittsburgh here in the next little while. So I want to make sure we bring a healthy immune system with us on the plane, and then we're good to go. Okay. So therapeutically speaking, if you're going to use silver psyllium for kids, do about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, just enough that they have some that they can swish around the mouth a little bit. If they don't swish it for 30 seconds, it's okay. They're kids. They're going to swallow it. So just swallow it down, and that should be very beneficial for them. And you can do that twice a day. Okay. With the silver sprays, 6 sprays twice a day, if you wanted to do that. Just don't drink anything within about 2 minutes or so of consumption of the silver, especially the sprays. Okay. Because you want to make sure you get full maximum absorption, let it do its thing, and then you can drink water, liquid, eat, whatever after you take it in. Okay, vitamin D, we already talked about that. Vitamin C, so C plus Biofizz, you can do 1 a day for kids. For adults, you can do 2-3 servings of that a day. Like I said, it's delicious. It's good to just toss in your water. Another company that we're going to be working with as well in terms of just helping promote is Ananda Elixirs. Okay, they have these beautiful blends of these super mushrooms that taste delicious with stevia added to it. They make it all themselves. These creations of beauty, like their bottles are beautiful anyways. Those things can have immune support, anti-tumor support, stress support. It has all the mushrooms blended in there, and you can give some drops to the kiddos as well. Our kids take that. And I know Sammy and Dylan, the creators of Ananda Elixirs, they started giving it to their kids, and their kids, I don't think, have been sick once since they started doing it. And they started a company, I think, 8-9 months ago or so. Okay, depending on when this comes out. Beginning of this year, they started, 2023. Okay, so these are just some other things that you can do and you can add into the mix as well to boost your kid's immune system as well as your own. Okay. The next one is going to be, well, let's just go with the biocidin because we kind of touched base on that. So biocidin is very, very, very potent. I see a lot of practitioners misusing this as well, and they're having parents overdose their kids with this, and this stuff is really strong. Okay. It's like an antibiotic for your kids. So if you give it to them, even if it's just for like a therapeutic dose, it's 1 drop per 10 pounds of body weight, and you split that into 2 doses. So if your kid weighs 40 pounds, it's 2 drops twice a day. Okay, not 2 full droppers, just 2 drops twice a day. Okay, when you have suspicion that your kid may have come in contact with somebody like that, to me, I just half that dose. So again, if your kid weighs 40 pounds, just give them 2 drops a day. We're saying probably you're going to be fine. I'm just going to give you 2 drops. If I need to increase it, I'll increase it for you. Okay. So that's biocidin. Next one you could do is elderberry syrup. Okay. So you can find these mixes everywhere. Elderberry and or echinacea are great teas as well that you can use to try to boost immune support as well. They just work tremendously for helping with the immune system. Every once in a while, I'll give my kids, they'll call it the tongue wiggle stuff, because echinacea, it makes your tongue feel like it's tingling after you take it. That's if they're like in a really bad state where, they're coughing, they can't seem to kick it. I'll give them a couple little drops of the echinacea or oil of oregano in the mouth as well. So if you haven't noticed yet, I'm not talking anything about antibiotics, not talking about taking your kids to the doctors, because all doctors are going to do is prescribe antibiotics. These are things that you can have in your own natural medicine cabinet in your home. That's what we have, right? This is a as needed type thing, right? They're on the back burner until they're needed, right? The other thing that I personally love that's always hilarious is astragalus root. So astragalus is one of those things that's like one of the most amazing herbs that has ever been created. I have my own tincture that I made that I give my kids, myself and my wife. We all take it. Astragalus is wicked strong. It helps with immune support. It helps with anti-cancer, natural killer cells, immune support, immunoglobulin support. It does like everything under the sun. And the best thing about it is there's like zero contraindications. Like every single person can take this stuff and benefit. The reason that I laugh about it, right? Because my wife Megan always knows when I give the kids astragalus, because they'll wake up like in 2 days after I started taking it. And my wife like, I just cut their fingernails. What the heck is going on? Their fingernails are growing like weeds and just like, I don't know. It's crazy. And she's like, what'd you do? I'm like, well, I gave him astragalus the other day. It helps to boost some energy support too, and it helps your immune system. So I gave him some. So it's going to help with the hair. You'll see hair grow quite tremendously. And then the nails are going to be one of the quickest things to grow as well. It does help with the skin too, but skin's less noticeable than your nails growing tremendously. Then your hair, you'll see it too. Men, if you have a full beard, it'll make your beard grow like crazy. I have to like pulse dose it for myself. Otherwise, I have to shave way too consistently to try to keep any type of semblance of facial hair. Otherwise, I just like Sasquatch out in the wild, which I'll probably do in November anyways, because why not? All right. But astragalus root is tremendous. It's great for kids. You don't have to use very much. You can make your own tinctures of it, or you can buy tinctures of astragalus root. Herb Farm makes some you can find in Sprouts, Whole Foods. You want to try to get just, good sourced organic forms of this stuff. If you want to make your own tinctures, Mountain Rose Herbs has some great resources. You could buy your own, and then you can either do vegetable glycerin for kids because it doesn't have any alcohol, or you can do natural extraction with some alcohol, some grain alcohol, vodka, something like that to pull it out, and you would just lower the drops that you would give the children. They're not going to get drunk off of it, so don't think that. But again, it's just something to know. Vegetable glycerin is a very safe alternative to make your own tinctures so that there is no alcohol component at all. That goes for any alcoholics that are listening to this as well. If you're like, I love these herbs, but everything has grain alcohol in it, what do? Do it yourself, right? It's going to cost you about the same to get a bottle of vegetable glycerin and some of the dry herbs, and you can make 5, 6, 7 bottles out of it, and you'll actually be saving money, right? The bottles are good just because you can get it really quickly, and if you're sick and you need it, you can use it. For tinctures, it's going to take a couple weeks or so before the tincture is prepared properly for you to be able to use and extract it. Ultimately, when it comes to what do you do to boost the kid's immune system, we want to start lifestyle first. Start simple. Get the bedtime down. Roofie them with melatonin if you need to get them to go to sleep. If you're like, I can see this question being asked, what time do my kids go to sleep? Our kids go to sleep around 6:30, 7 o'clock or so, and then they're down to about they'll wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, pound on the doors to come out. They get good quality sleep, but yeah, when you melatonin them, they're going to have tons of energy in the morning and they want to come out of those rooms. So what's a normal sleep time? About 7 o'clock or so for us. There's different varying degrees. Again, I have a 5-year-old and then our daughter's about to turn 3. They go to bed about the same time. Daughter needs a nap kind of around like 4:30 or so. We stretch it out to about 6:30, 7, put her down. And my son will play for a little bit, read some books in his room, and then he'll go to sleep. Okay. So work on the sleep, then work on the diet. What are you feeding them in their lunches, right? Give them some oranges, those little cutie oranges, get some organic oranges, let them take them to school. They can eat that. It's going to give them some vitamin C. An orange today isn't like an orange back in our parents' day, but it's still going to be some vitamin C. It has some acidity to it too. So to me, it helps with clearing any type of bacteria, things like that in the throat, any phlegm. It'll help to kind of burn it off as well. Give them whole foods. What do we put in our kids' lunches? Like, I'll do chicken and rice. I'll do beef and rice. I'll do fruit. I'll do nuts, coconut chews in there too, beef sticks in there too, like chomp sticks, Paleo Valley sticks, anything that's going to be basically higher in fat and protein, lower in carbohydrates. And the rice that we use, it's organic jasmine rice. They like to do kind of like a hodgepodge, kind of mushed all together, and then they just crush it for lunch. Okay, so start with that sleep, then go to the lunch. The stress piece of it, just talk with your kids, just be emotionally available to them. If there's things going on at school they want to talk to you about, just be there for them, help them through whatever it is that's going to help to reduce that stress. Other preventative things, getting a multivitamin in there as well. Garden of Life makes like little chewables if your kid wants a chewable. Hiya, Hiya, also makes a multivitamin for kids too. That's pretty good, pretty solid. And again, trying to find one with some magnesium in there, some vitamin D, some vitamin C, some of the trace minerals in there too is going to be beneficial to just prevent any type of disease taking place. And then there's the supplementals, right? So the vitamin D, the silver is in there, astragalus root, C+ biofizz, elderberry, okay? biocidin. I can't remember if I said that or not, but those are the things you can use to actively treat something that you think that your kid may have instead of using an antibiotic from the doctor, right? And even when crap hits the fan, like it's all good and fine if you want to go to the doctor's going to scare the bejesus out of you and try to get you on a medication or get your kid on a medication or guilt trip you to give them an antibiotic and tell you that they're going to die if they don't. Strep throat is one of the main ones on that. Give them some fireside, give them some habanero, give them some spice, right? Give them some echinacea, give them some silver. Strep will go away. Strep is self-limiting, usually goes away in 7 days with a normal, strong immune system. If you're doing all of these things, your kid's going to have a wicked strong immune system, right? And the disclaimer on this is this doesn't mean that your kid will never get sick. This means that your kid will have a strong immune system. Our bodies need to come in contact with germs, with microbes, with viruses, with parasites, with everything around us. We need to actually have that exposure, especially as a kid. All the research shows the more things that the kids are exposed to at a young age, the stronger their immune system is as an adult. Okay, so this masking crap where they're like, mask your kid, hide from these viruses, hide from this, and make sure you get these vaccines. That is just playing into the fact that they want your child to have a weak immune system so they can become dependent on drugs, on surgeries, getting their adenoids and tonsils removed, right? And then it leaves your kid up to be sicker further down the line. Okay, now the disclaimer on a disclaimer is if your kid is constantly sick and you're like, I can't figure out what the heck to do. This is just getting insane at this point. Reach out to me. We may need to do some additional tests. We could do a mold test or talk about mold. We could do a stool test, which is where a lot of your immune system is going to be. We'll do a deeper dive into diet and lifestyle. Okay, we'll figure out what it is that's making this child's immune system be compromised, and we'll work on building it and rebuilding it. What I just gave is just the general public. If you're like, hey, I want to protect myself, my kids for the holidays, for school season, etc. This is what we do as a family. There's a whole bunch of other things you can do as well. This is the least woo-woo out there. Again, I'm getting into more like the Chinese herbs and things like that. Astragalus fruit is a portion of that, but there's some other things. There's teas, there's tonics, there's decoctions that you can make too. I have a cold virus and flu tea that I make as well. If you want any of those recipes, just listen to this and reach out to me. And maybe I can have my team post about some of them. I know we did a tea post a little while back. But again, I want to try to make this school year as healthy as possible and also let you as parents not be so worried and not be so concerned about these things that are out there in the ether, more or less. Okay, do not get your kids vaccinated. I'm going to get censored for that, but don't get your kids vaccinated. And sure as crap, don't get them the flu shots when they're going back to school. They don't need it. They need a natural acquisition to the flu. They found out in the research that each consecutive flu shot that you get makes you more susceptible to get the flu and actually have a weaker immune system. The whole system is corrupt, so I want to empower you to take control of your health as well as your child's health yet again. Okay, so thank you again for tuning in. We're going to go into even more detail with this on the next one here. We're going to talk about 3 herbal remedies for respiratory health, for allergies and flu. We're going to talk about mind-body wellness for allergy relief and flu, some holistic stuff for managing allergies and flu with kids, things you could do around the house as well. There's going to be a ton that we're going to talk about on this particular topic. And I feel like it's the best time to do it because school's starting back up again. But if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to go from whatever platform you're listening to this on and then find me on Instagram. And we can have a conversation in the DMs there, and you can tell me about what you're going through. And if it says, hey, I may need to come and see you, then we'll get you scheduled for a free 15-minute consult and see what's going on and see if we're a good fit for each other and see how I might be able to help you. But again, never settle for anything less than perfection when it comes to your health.